Hey Soumya, hey Sri.
Hi, Subhan.
Okay. Let's wait for others to join. Okay, let's start then. Okay, so Lakshmi, have you gone through the previous session that I have taken yesterday?
Hi, Subhan. Good morning. Actually, I didn't get time to go through.
Not able to hear you.
Hi, good morning. Actually, I
Yeah.
didn't get time to go through.
Okay. So yesterday we was talking about the service cloud. Okay.
Okay.
So you can get idea from there.
Yeah, I will go through. Today I will.
Okay. Okay. All right. So today we'll be completely discussing on the codes, Apex classes and codes. Okay. So let's say, okay. So let's say here we will be, the scenario will be to count the number of contacts for an account. So it will be applicable for the code we will be writing. So that should be applicable for any role of summary setup for lookups relationship. All right. So here, so can anyone tell me what is the best practice of writing triggers?
No for loops inside the.
Yeah, that's okay. So
Mm.
that is the practice for every Apex class. Okay. The most important thing is the trigger should have a helper class, have a handler helper class. Okay. And here it will have the logic written. And we should not write the logics, just insert the trigger itself. Okay. Okay. So here, so what we'll be needing is we will be taking the account IDs. So it can be the list of account IDs. So we will check why it is needed. Okay. Okay. So, okay. That should be on contact because we are counting the contacts, right? Okay. So inside the for loop, what should be written? So here we want to get the account ID from the contacts which are newly being inserted. So what should be written in the for loop? Anyone can guess? Okay. Okay. So here, as you can see, actually. So trigger.new will return all the newly created, that is being inserted. So they will return the list of all the new contacts, new records that is being inserted. So from there, we will take the account ID and we will store them in the account ID list. Okay. All right, let's do that. Okay. And here, let's say we have a helper class. Okay. So now we will call the class from here and we will pass all the account IDs. Okay, so till now, does anyone have any understanding issue? So is everything understood? Okay. Let's say we have a map of ID and account object. Okay. So here what we'll be checking is we will iterate through the account ID list. Okay. So let's say it is account ACC select ID. And let's say in the account object, we have a field called count of contacts. Let's say contact count. So this is the field name. Okay. So here we will be taking all the account IDs and contact count number. So where ID will be in the account ID list, which will be receiving as the parameter. Okay. So now we will store it them to the map dot port ID, common new account ID equals acc.id and this is 0. So now the map is generated. So until now, do you have any issue? So till now it is cleared. Soumya, till now it is cleared.
Yes.
Okay. So Bhavani, till now this is clear to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the
Uh,
next part. Yeah.
so actually, what is IDs? Like account IDs means? What does it mean?
Which one you were telling? Which line can you mention?
Not line. Generally, you are asking it will fetch IDs and account all account lists, right? So
Right.
yeah, IDs means what kind of IDs we will get in account? Generally, account means we will keep.
It's the record ID. Okay. So
Oh, okay,
whenever you write the ID, it means it's the record ID we're getting.
okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So now again we will be taking the contacts. Okay. So now what we'll do is So here we are just checking if the contact's account ID is equal to the any one account ID that we have been getting from the account ID list. So that's what you need to check here. So this is a very important statement. So here we are checking if the contact's account ID is actually residing in the account ID list. So if that's the case, we will be incrementing the count. And if for the delete also, we'll be decrementing the count. All right. Okay.
I have a question, Sohan.
Yeah, tell me.
We can we use the get function in the previous statement as well instead of writing the for loop and fetching all the things?
No. Previous statement means in where?
Um, in this find count function, the for loop.
This one, right?
Yeah.
No. You cannot do it because see, you need to generate the map here, right? Then only you can get the IDs from the map, right? So here we are populating the map, and after that we are using the map here. Got it?
Because account and contacts are like already interlinked, right? So why do we
Yeah,
need
that's
to do
that's
the
right.
mapping
No,
again?
See again. So that is the where you need to understand. Okay. For example, let's take.
Because the whenever the account is created, the contact is generated.
Are you sure? That's not the thing. See, whenever the account is created, the contact is not generated by default. If you want to make a contact, then it can be created. But by default, contact is not generated when the account is created. Yeah, that's a,
Mhm.
both of them are interlinked. They are in relationship, but we cannot create automatically a contact. Yeah, we can
But
do
we
it
can
using triggers and
insert,
all.
right?
Yeah, we can insert. So after
Okay.
creating an account, we can create a contact with that account.
Okay.
Got
I'm
it?
clear now. Yeah.
Yeah, now you understood, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. And this is our variable. So this account map, this is our declared variable in this method. So this is not provided by Salesforce. So this map will be populated by us only. So first here we are constructing the map here, and in this for loop we are using the map here. Got it? Okay. All right. So now again we will get the count here. So till now, is it fine for you all? So this statement is important. So why are we doing this? You need to understand. So I am giving you 5 minutes just to go through it. Okay, and tell me if anything is missing for you to understand. Because the design I am giving you, right? So this design, the same pattern you can use for any lookup relationship to find the role of summary field. It can be aggregate operation, it can be sum of operation, it can be the count operation, whatever it is. You need to follow the same approach. So on the understanding this piece of code is important. And this question will be asked for any interview for developer roles. Okay. So I'm giving you 5 minutes to understand this. So after this for loop, we will just update the account list. So first let me know if up till this everything is clear.
Yes, it's clear.
So Bhavani, you understood, right?
Can you explain the last for loop?
Right, yes. So what we are doing in last, okay, so this for loop is clear to you, right? So why
Yes.
we have done that?
Yeah.
So here we just are making an account map. Okay, so in that account map we are having the account ID and number of contacts. Initially it is initialized at 0. Okay, so now here we will be again revisiting the contacts. So whatever contacts are there, we are iterating them. Okay, so we are getting each contact at a time and we will check if that contact's account ID is residing in this account map or not.
Okay.
Got it? Okay, let's take an example, then it would be easier for understand. Okay. So let's say we are inserting contact 1, contact 2. And let's say it is having account 1 and this is having account 2. Okay. And let's say there is another C1 con 3 and this is also account 2. Its parent is also account 2. Okay. So initially what will be done here is we will be taking all the account IDs. Okay. So here this list, right? This account list, ID list will contain account 1's ID, account 2's ID, and account 3's ID. Sorry, two accounts are there. So account ID list will be having the ID of account 1 and account 2. Okay. So now let's say what is there in the map. Okay. So in the map, initially, the content will be like this. Okay. So here you can see whatever in the map is, there is a ID and account, right? So here, this is the key and the value will be account. So ACC1. Okay. And we have initialized the count of contact to 0. Okay. So contact count, this field value will be 0. Okay. Then again, for the next record, it will be account 2 ID. This is the key. And the record will be account 2. And initially, as we already inserted with 0 as the contact count, initially it will be 0. Okay. So by this line, by the end of this line, we will be having this account map. Till now it's clear, right? So now what is the next step? See, now we need to revisit to all the contacts that are being inserted. Okay. So the loop will be going first contact 1, then contact 2, and finally contact 3. Okay. So this will be the content of the loop. So the loop will iterate over contact 1, contact 2, and contact 3. Fine. So now see what this line will execute. Okay. So now contact 1 dot first we are iterating through contact 1. So in the if condition, what is being checked? Contacts 1 dot account ID is equals to account map dot get. Okay, so now what will be happening here? Let's check. Account map dot get. So this is con dot, again con1 dot account id, con1 dot account id, and finally this is id. So this line is being executed, right? So we will check whether these are equal or not. Okay, so let's say the id of the account one is x. Okay, let's say this is x. The id of account one is x. So here we will be getting the value as x, right? So in the account mapped, what will be happening? So in the account map dot get con1 dot account id. So this line will return what? This line will return. So we are searching the account map with the key value, right? And the key value is the account id. So it will return account one. So can you understand this one? Soumya, Pavani, and everyone. So do you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. So here we are getting the account one from the map. So now what will this line will give us? So now ultimately it will give us account one dot id, right? Account one
That's
dot
equals to
id.
X.
Yeah, which is equals to x. So we are checking whether this is the contact and what is the account of this contact. So first we need to get the account of this particular contact wherever we are iterating. Okay. So once we have got it, now we will take the count field of the account of that account. So we have checked that yes, this con1's parent is account one. That is for sure. We have checked that. So now what we will do is, again, we are getting these account details by using this, by searching the accounts key from the account map. We are getting the account details. Now we will need to have the contact count. So now if we write that initially it was 0 and plus equals to 1 means it will be incremented by 1. Got it? So everyone, this is clear, right? Why we are doing all this? Okay. So finally, so we have we have updated the account map. So now it's the time to update the account in the database. All right. So now we will check if account map dot values not equals to null, which means there are some value in the account map. Account map dot values means it will return all the list of accounts. Okay. So now if it is not null, then either we can use the database dot insert operation, or we can just use the insert operation. Insert account map dot values, which will update the accounts in the database, and the accounts will be updated with the correct number of contacts. So this is clear, right, to everyone? So Soumya, any doubt?
Mm.
Okay. So Bhavani, you were having doubt, right? So is it now clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So let's say there is a contract and there is account. This time it is contract. So we need to find the number of contract present in that account. So the same way we can do it. Okay. And also one thing to mention is that should be worked for before insert, before update, before delete, and after undelete. So for every scenario, it will work. Okay. All right. But here, one point to note here. So before delete, trigger.new will not work, right? So for that, we need to check if trigger dot is delete. If it is not equals to trigger dot is delete, which means it will be one of the insert, update, or delete. I mean, if it is not a delete, I mean, it should be one of the insert, update, or undelete. So if this is not delete, we will perform this. Okay. And if it is delete operation, then we will check with the trigger.old. Else if trigger.h delete, then we will do is as this is trigger.old, and we will get the IDs from trigger.old. Okay, so this is clear, right? Okay. So this is a very important question for developer roles. So that should be asked. And this is the question that will be asking by every interviewer for every job role, because this is where it will be judged. Okay, fine. Okay, so Soumya, I think you have turned on your video. So yeah, okay. All right, so the same approach, let's say the scenario is we need to find total number of contacts for a particular account. Okay, so by checking this code, can you do this? Can you find the total number of contacts, which means we need to provide the sum operation, right? So can anyone do that? Okay, let's say instead of total number of contacts, uh, let's say total amount of opportunity sold for a particular account. So can anyone do it? Okay, so Bhavani, I will be asking you for the first one. The first part you need to follow. So what will be the content in the trigger? So Bhavani, can you tell me in which object we should write the trigger? Okay,
I
so
think it's account.
why it's account? Again, so if you compare this pattern, right? and everything, I mean, for every role of summary implementation for lookup relationship, you need to follow the same pattern. Okay. So here where we are extremely sorry, that should be contract. Okay. So where we have written this trigger on the child one, right? So
Yes.
we have, so you have to write the trigger on the child object.
Yes.
Remember it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I will ask you, what should be the context here? In which context we should apply the trigger? Okay, so what should be a context possible here?
After insert.
For insert.
Yeah, one is before insert, then okay, before update as well. Then
After
can
update.
anyone? No, as we are doing it for before update, then we don't need to do it for again for after update. Or we can do it instead of before, we can make it all after. So both will work, but we can make it for everything for after. Okay, but for delete that should be before. Okay, it's not validation, so it can be after, right? Okay, so let's make it all the after context. So before it also work, but it's better to make it after. Okay, so what other context can be applicable here? So these are all the contexts that can be applicable here. Okay, so let's say we have, again, we need to create an ID which will maintain all the IDs for parent record, right? So here the parent record is account. So it will store the IDs of the parent records, which means it would be a list of account IDs. Okay. New. Or if anyone is trying to use set instead of list, will it work? Let's say we are not using the list, we are using set. So will it work?
Mm, the set is like we are setting something to the
Okay, so what is the difference between
one.
list and set?
Duplicate values.
Yeah, so duplicate values we can have in the list, but there should be no duplicate value in the set, right? So
Yes.
either way, ID is the unique value only. So you can store it in the list and we can store it in the set as well. So it doesn't have any problem. Okay. Okay. So now what will you do? So Soumya, can you tell? So what should be the next step? See, this is the ID list we have created to store all the account ID list. Now we need to store it, right? So how to get all the account IDs from the opportunity and store it in the account ID list? So can you tell that, Soumya?
Yeah. In the same way, like account ID list dot get.
No, see here our goal is to get all the account IDs, okay? And store them in the list, account ID list. So this is our goal, okay? So to get all the account IDs, we need to find the account IDs. So where we can find the account IDs? Can you guess that? From where we can get the account IDs? Okay, so there is a relationship between opportunity and account, right? And we are applying the trigger on the opportunity, right? So there must be a way to get the account ID from the opportunity record, correct? Okay. So if we write this, okay. So if we write this, what will happen? If we write this statement, what will happen? So Soumya, can you tell me?
Not sure.
Okay.
That trigger that you have whatever records it will forward to opportunity, I think.
Okay. So the trigger.new will return all the new opportunity records that are being inserted. All right. So first of all, say you need to understand in this scenario which object record we are exactly inserting. Is it account or is it opportunity? So can you tell me that? So for this scenario, what should be we are inserting? Is it the opportunity records we are inserting or it's the account record we are inserting?
Opportunity reports.
Correct. So that is why the trigger is an opportunity. That is clear, right?
Yes.
So now what we need to do is we need to find the account ID for each opportunity record that is being inserted. Okay. We need to find the account ID for each opportunity record that is being inserted. So to get that account ID of each opportunity record, we need to get each opportunity record, right?
Yes. And we have to compare it with the account IDs.
Yes, that's the later part. But first we need to get all the opportunity records that are being inserted.
Right.
Correct?
And the IDs. Yes, yes.
Yes. So how to get that? We can get it using trigger.new. Okay. So now we will take the account IDs and we will store it in the list. Okay. So how we can get the account ID from each opportunity is opt.account ID. So this is the way we will get the account ID for each opportunity and we will be storing those account IDs in the account ID list. Clear? So Soumya, this is clear to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is very important. You need to understand. So Bhavani, this is clear to you as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So again, we need to check one more validation that trigger.new will only work for insert, update, and undelete, and it will not work for delete. So we will check if it is not delete, which means this way we will check trigger.delete. So here it will check that it is not the delete operation. Then we will have this logic here. Okay. So Bhavani, now I will ask you if it is the delete operation, then what to write here? So this is not the delete operation, then we can use the trigger.new. Now, if this is the delete operation, then what will we'll write here? Can you guess? Can anyone guess? So Swami and Bhavani.
I think we need to remove that account ID if it's
No, no, no. See. Here, our first goal is to find the records which are being inserted, or which are being deleted, or which are being undeleted, or which are being updated. Okay. So we need to get those records first. Then the later we can find what logic we can apply. But our first goal is to get the records which are currently being inserted or deleted, right?
The old
So
records
here,
will be fetched if it is deleted.
So here, this is the delete operation, right? We are checking trigger.isDelete. So if this is true, which means this is a delete operation. So if it is a delete operation, we need to first fetch all the opportunity records which are being deleted, correct?
Mhm.
So to get that, what we should write? See, like we write here, we wrote
Trigger
here,
dot
right?
delete.
No. Okay, so Soumya, were you mentioning something?
Told.
Yes. There is no such thing like trigger.delete. Okay. So, okay. First understand what are the context variables allowed in triggers. So trigger.new is there, which will return a list. Trigger.old is there, which is also returning
Trigger
a
dot
list.
one.
Yeah. Trigger.new map is also there, which will be returning a map of new records that is being inserted or updated or being undeleted, and there will be trigger.old map again. Okay. So these maps will have IDs and a subject record. Okay, we can discuss in detail. Okay, I'll leave it there for now. So here in for loop, what will you write here? Yeah, you are correct. We should find the opportunity records that are being deleted. We should find it from the trigger.new, right? So inside the for, what should we write now? Soumya, can you tell me?
Opportunity OPP trigger dot
Correct,
old.
correct. No, that should be trigger.old, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now what is our goal?
Same. Adding it to the list again. The deleted records.
Yeah, and that's okay. So now what we do? So this is our first step is done to find the opportunity records that are being deleted. Now our second goal is to find the account IDs of those records which are being deleted and store them in the account ID list. Correct? So how to find the account ID of the records that are being deleted? How can we do that? So this is the
OPP
statement,
dot
right?
yes. OPP dot
Correct.
account ID.
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. So this is how we are getting the account IDs for each opportunity. Now our goal is to store them in the account list, right? So this is our list, and this is how we store them in the list using add operation. Got it? This is clear, right? Do you have any doubt? Please tell me. Otherwise, it would be difficult going forward. Okay. So Bhavani, you also understood, right?
Yes.
Okay. So our first step was, I'm writing the steps here also. The first step is to get all the records that are being processed. Processed means it can be updated or deleted or inserted. Number two step is, once we get all the records, we will fetch the parent record ID to fetch the parent record ID for each child record And number 3 step will be to store the parent record IDs in a ID list. Okay. So step number 1, this is the step number 1. Okay. This is step 2 and step 3. Similarly, this is the step 1 here again. This is step 2 and step 3. So this is our first goal, what we can do. Okay. Okay. So now our step 4 will be to pass the ID list to a helper method or handler method. Okay. All right. So here, let's say we have created another class. So this is the another class we have created, and let's say this is public class. Let's say opportunity trigger helper. Okay. And here in this class we have a method called, it's a public static void, let's say fetch sum of ops. So this is our method name, and in this method we will be passing the list of IDs. List of parent IDs means the list of account IDs. Okay, so now we will perform the step number 4. So this is our class. We will call the method and we will pass the account ID list over here. So this is our step number 4. Okay, so up to step number 4, no doubt, right? Soumya and Bhavani.
Everything is fine.
Everything is clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So once we passed the account ID list to the method, so in the method, we will start our step number 5. Okay. So what is the step number 5 here? Okay. So let's see what is that. We will again apply a for here. Let's say okay. So here we will create a map. Or let's say just I can mention the ID over here. ID, back ID, count ID list. So here we will generate the map. So how to generate it? We will just pass the ID and we will create a new account. Again, this is the custom field in the account we have created. So this is a custom field in the account and we are initializing it to 0 while creating this, while configuring this account map. Okay, so here our number 5 step will be create a map with parent record. Okay, and configure it. Okay, so this is the step where we can configure the account map, which means the parent record map. So here the parent is account. So here we will receive the account ID list. We will iterate through the account ID list and we will create a map of the parent record, which means it is for this example, it is account map. Okay. So in this account map, it will be a type of ID, a subject. So here the ID is ID and the a subject is account. So first we will pass the ID. So this is the account ID, which is coming from the account ID list. And here we will be creating a brand new account with that account ID and initializing the sum of the opportunity to be 0. So this step is clear. Lavanya. Sorry, Lavanya is not there. So Soumya.
Yes.
So you understood, right, why we are doing this?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So
So
one
yeah,
question.
tell me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so we are having the one more sum of custom record, right? It will
Mhm.
be in the account object or in the opportunity object?
So which one? This field, right? You are
Yeah.
asking?
Yes.
Yeah, this field will be in the account object, right? Why is that? Can you guess? Okay. So let's say there is an account ACC1, okay, and we have opportunity 1 as a child. Again, we have opportunity 2 here. Okay.
The same. Okay. Okay.
So in opportunity 1, we have an amount. There is a field called amount in opportunity, right? That's a standard field. Let's say this is 50 for account for opportunity 1. And let's say for opportunity 2, there is an amount field of 30. Okay. So in the account, the field sum up should be 80. Got it?
Yeah, I understood now. Yeah.
So this is why we will have the field in the account object. So
Yes.
which will actually get a summation of all the amounts for that account. Okay. Okay. So that's our goal. But this is a very important step. So this is really understood by you all, right? If you have any doubt, please let me know, because going forward, this is the basic question. I mean, this is the most important question you can face in an interview. So Bhavani, this is understood by you as well, right? This step.
Yes.
Okay. So now we will have the final step. So our work is 80% done. So now we will iterate through the child record. Okay. So what is the child record here? Soumya,
Opportunity.
right? So we will iterate through opportunity, correct? And how we can get the opportunities? By writing a query. Okay. So that's why I told you to go through the previous example. So what was that query here? This is the query, right?
Mhm.
So it's just right here. From opportunity, where account ID in account ID list. This is how we get the opportunity records. We get the each opportunity record. Okay. So this is the starting of the for loop. Now our step is to match the account ID with the opportunities account ID. Okay. So here we will take the uh, parent record ID from the child record, and we will try to match it through the parents record ID, which means we will take the account ID from the child, which means opportunity, and we will match it with the ID of the parent, which means accounts ID. Got it? Okay, so Soumya, can you tell me how we can get the account ID from this opportunity record? It's simple, right? OPP.account ID, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now we will be checking with which
Also,
ID?
this account map
Right,
dot account
correct.
ID.
Dot get OPP.account ID dot. So this is the ID, right? So that is why dot ID. So
Exciting.
yeah, by this line we will get the account, and to get the account ID we will append dot ID. Okay. Okay. So if the IDs are matched, then we will find the sum of the amount. Okay. So how can we do that? Again, so this is the account, right? And we need to update the sum of field. So we will take it and we will append that. Okay. So initially it is 0. So again, plus equals OPP dot amount. So this line is understood. Soumya, this is understood.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Bhavani, you also understood this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So by this line, if you write this way, you will get an error. So can you guess what is the error here? Okay. See, we are trying to fetch the amount field from the opportunity,
Opportunity. Mhm.
but we haven't selected here, right? So you need to select here the amount as well. Okay. So now, yeah, we have done the 90% of work. So now we just need to update. Okay. So now here we will just check if the values are not null. Then we will update. Anyway, so I think I have, okay, that should be updated. All right. So we'll just update the values. Got it? So this is clear to you, right? Okay. Let me write the step number 6. fetch the parent record ID from parent map and compare with parent record ID of the child records. So step number 6 will be checked here. Step 6. Step 7, just perform the logic. Okay. And the step number 8 will be get the values from parent map and update. So these are all these 6 steps we need to follow. And the thing is, if you follow this for any scenario, you just need to update the step number 7. The remaining steps will be same. So as per the logic, whether it is a sum operation, whether it is a max min operation, you need to perform the logic. I mean, you need to update the step number 7 accordingly. Else, all the remaining steps will be same. Got it? So for any scenario, you just need to follow the steps. Everything will be 7 and everything will be same except the step number 7. Understood? Okay. Now I have an assignment for you. Use the same approach. And find the max amount of the opportunity for a particular account. So here also, whenever you are doing that, just update the step number 7. So every step will remain same. Got it? Okay. So till now, this is understood by everyone, right? You don't have any doubt, right? Soumya and Bhavani, this all is clear to you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so take this as an assignment, and maybe if you can, you can do it by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. All right. Okay, then I think we are good to go for this session. So tomorrow I will take, I will go forward. So tomorrow you will be joining, right? So Soumya and Bhavani, you both will be joining, right?
Yes.
Yes. I'll
Yes.
join.
Okay, so try to do it by tomorrow so we can check it then.
Okay.
Okay. Okay then. So I think that's all for today. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye. Yeah, bye
Bye.
all. Thanks.